We gotta start singing on this channel more.
We do. Why did we stop when Josh left?
Because it wasn't as fun.
That's true. He was like the reason we did it.
It was so fun to agitate him.
Stop.
Yeah, when we didn't hit... It's like in life. Things aren't as fun. Hey, welcome to Tablenauts. We're back. This is Max.
Hi.
I'm Doolin. And today I have a video idea, so I had to do the intro, and
right.
I'm really bad at it. We are talking area control games.
That's right.
I feel like that's all Tablenauts has been.
It's
over
been
the
a
last...
lot of area control coverage in the past couple of weeks.
We've been really high on the Eric Lang trilogy. We had an Eric Lang day.
Dedicated
with
to it.
Kyle, our buddy. And
thanks, Kyle.
Yes. And
screw you, Kyle.
That's our relationship
Basically,
now. But I had an idea for a video because all three of those were really, really great. And I've slowly started to learn that I've actually already found a love of Dudes on a Map area control games. Mm-hmm. And I've been collecting them. I've been playing them with you. And they're always really high on my list. And so I thought, you know, if you have been watching these videos and you are interested in those three, or maybe you've never played an area control game and that price point kind of like scares you off.
They're not cheap.
They're not cheap. They're great games. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I think all three of them are at least close. Or Ankh isn't there yet, but both of the first two are in the top 100 of BGG, which, you know, use that how you might.
Ankh just hit an 8.0 today, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's on its way up.
It's got to be close, if not higher than top 100. But higher than top 100. Eventually we'll make it to the 100. But I came up with a few that I really enjoy all of these. And if you are a person who wants to try an area control game, this is a really great place to start. Some of these are a little pricier than others, but all of them fall just below $50, which is...
almost half of what Rising Sun and Ankh are going for.
In the board game space is affordable?
Relatively affordable.
Yeah. So we're going to start with one that we've actually already covered before, and we played with Sean on the channel. It was actually for Crime Week.
Crime Week?
Yeah. And that is Tammany Hall. Now, this one I think is most directly comparable to Rising Sun.
Yeah.
There's like the bluffing mechanic where you're holding a certain amount of, but in reality with Rising Sun it's like placing things along behind a board.
But you're bluffing for your combat power, kind of, in a sense.
Yes. And because you have these reserves and you're waiting to use them on votes in this, whereas the other is straight up just fighting.
Right.
But both are all about having the most sections of the map. Whereas others, you might score multiple points for having certain colors or anything like this. This is not that way, right? Like, it's mainly just having more of the map than everyone else.
Yeah, the immigration tokens are going to score you for having certain people wear whatnot, but predominantly the main method of scoring is you control area 1, you get a point. You control area 2, you get a point, and so on and so forth.
And for me, and just fully transparent on this, before we played Rising Sun, this was in my top 20. It might still be there. It's just one of those things where I'm trying to decide which of those I like more, which speaks volumes about this being as cheap as it is, which I actually have the price on Card House, where we buy most of our games, or at least I do now. Thanks to you for showing me that.
I'm sorry.
It is only $35.
Yeah.
Which... I mean, that's a great experience for only $35.
I love Tammany Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing game. It's so simple, so streamlined, and so tense all at the same time. Something that I can teach to, I mean, I have successfully taught it to my parents. It's not a difficult game to really grasp, but there's so much depth in every action you take and every move you make. I'll be watching you.
I also really like the every time you win the round, you become mayor.
Is that a lyric?
What? Yes, that's the next line to that song. If you nobody knows the next line of that song. That's
it's like the third verse of God Save the Queen. Amazing Grace was what I was trying to think of.
That one too. No one ever says this third verse in a hymn.
That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah,
I don't even. Does God Save the Queen have more than a verse? Are they called verses?
God Save the Queen.
I've never heard that song. I just couldn't think of Amazing Grace, and just off the top of my head, it was God Save the Queen. That's the only thing I can think of.
I'm broken. I can't keep doing this video. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next one, this one is actually a controversial one, I think.
Controversial?
How do you say that word?
Controversial?
There's no SH in there.
It's like Herschel. It's the SI sound.
I've never once said controversial.
Really? You say controversial.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Like the word controversial.
There you go.
This game is that.
At least
in our
between
Discord.
us.
Yeah, and with Jeff and Jamie as well. This game
Baby
is
Blood Rage.
Small
There's going to be
world.
at least 3 comments about that already. I've received multiple comments on that video about how I was really rude to Small World. I've never even played the game.
Having played Blood Rage now, it absolutely is that way.
Thank you.
Now, it's
I'm still crying.
It's simpler. It's simpler with variable player powers.
Sure.
And I really like that about it. And if you'll notice...
We like asymmetry.
Yes. And on top of that, all of these, and this might be a talking point for a different video, all of these don't have miniatures in them.
Yeah.
Which I think drives the price down a lot.
Absolutely.
Like, this game could be extremely expensive. It is $44 on Card House, which is still not that cheap.
Imagine if Root came with miniatures for all of the little...
And how expensive that would be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, all of these games would go... Like, and this has, like 18 different factions or something like that in the base game.
So
like,
if you're environmentally conscious or averse to plastic, these are excellent choices.
Or if you just
in and
have
of themselves.
less space than you
no
than you
shelf
want.
space.
Yeah. Sorry.
Speaking of,
yeah,
I have games on the floor, on the ping pong table, in a chair. I don't know where to put it all.
he really does.
You're gonna get a video about that eventually.
But
so
anyway,
I've never played this one.
This it's comparable to Blood Rage.
Okay,
it really is. I would love to still play it with you at some point, like another game in here.
Have you ever played this one at 2?
No, I've only played it at 3 and 4.
I'd be interested to try it at 2.
Yeah,
maybe we can compare it to Blood Rage at 2.
There's in like Blood Rage, you know how you have like areas of the map that are just
walled off.
Yes, in this one you just flip over the board, and there's
Smaller
a 2 to 3,
areas.
and there's a 4 to 5.
Sure.
So I honestly think that the best player count is 3 or 5 because you
got the most people in the smallest area for that player count.
Yes, exactly. Otherwise, you're not really interacting as much,
Sure.
which is not as much fun. So Small World is great. I feel like I don't have to talk about it much because it's been known for a really long time.
I know nothing about it.
Well, you don't, but like it's been in the space.
Well, everyone else
for a really long time. Like I got turned on to this because of Will Wheaton from Tabletop, and he played it.
Yeah,
and
he typically turns me on too.
Yes, yeah, that's Small World. It's really really great.
What was the price point on this one?
44.
Are we moving on to our favorite?
This is my favorite.
It's my favorite.
All of these.
It's
5.
absolutely my favorite.
And if you're in our Discord, it will come to no surprise to you. We're going to talk about Root.
Yes.
Next. Now this falls just below that $50 price point.
Yeah, like $45-ish dollars.
I think it was 48 on Card House, which is actually cheaper than I see it at most places. I still wanted to talk about this one because if you're comparing, like, I think it easily holds its own against those 3. If not, this one's better than those 3.
It's better. It depends on player count. A lot of it depends on player count. This is strictly 2 to 4. I think you can house rule it to 5 and 6. I know that people have done that.
I would love to.
I would love to try it as well.
I don't know if I would like it less than 4. I don't know if I would choose to play it.
I think it's great at 3.
Really?
I love it at 3. I've played it at 3 many times. I do not recommend.
Hey Draco,
welcome back.
Can't be a video without Draco.
You made me blur out the video because your butthole was in front of the camera for like a solid 5 seconds. This is not a game for 2 players. It might be when the Marauders Kickstarter comes out. It might be more interesting at that player count. But I mean, if you're a 2-player gamer only, I'm thinking we haven't really talked about any that are going to excel for you yet, but we will. We'll talk about a couple 2-player ones that'll excel for you. But yeah, Root is our favorite. This is our favorite on this list. It's a top 5 game for me at this point in time. We've played it on the app in our Discord with Kyle and Jeff and Jer and all of them a lot. And it's shot up my list. Shot up. It was probably like number 7, and now it's probably like number 3 or 4.
I think in my top 20 it was number 6.
Yes,
I think
I do believe it was your number 6.
It's moved up to number 2.
Number 2.
It dethroned Bloodstone.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Number 2 was Bloodstone.
We don't have Bloodstone in our hands either.
But I still, like, I'll go back and watch that video from time to time.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I want it so
But let's talk about Root.
Anyway.
Not a 2-player game.
Root is great. It's even great, like, digitally.
Oh, we love it.
If you're talking cheap price point to get in on any of these, digital Root is
$10 on Steam or iOS. In the States. In Canada, it's like $112, but...
Dollars?
Yeah, that's what the conversion rate is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
$112.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Good luck buying any of these.
I know. I can't wait to feel so rich when I go to Canada.
Yeah. They're Looney Toonies.
They're worth nothing.
Anyway, this game is Man, it is factions that are all asymmetrical, fighting like that are all super cute. You're either in the base game, birds, cats, woodland alliance
like
creatures,
fox and mice and stuff.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. Well, it's the cards.
Oh, fox, mice, and bunnies.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fox, mice, and bunnies, and then there is the
Vagabond,
which is
typically a raccoon, but there's a mole rat, and
does that come in the base game?
I think a
Or is it the
couple of
Vagabond
them
pack?
do. I think a couple come in the base game,
cool.
and then the Vagabond pack adds more. I could be wrong.
Gotcha. Well, either way, it's so interesting because to me, it's almost like 4 board games in one, and everybody's playing their own separate board game that is interacting with each other so well, and it's super cute. It's super well made. Like I love everything about it.
Yeah, I love asymmetry, and I'm not trying to crap on this game. I haven't had a chance to play it. I know Jeff and Jamie love it, but like one of the complaints that I've heard about a game called Merchant's Cove, which is very asymmetric. I know Jeff and Jamie love it. Sam at Lord of the Board loves it. Like apparently, a lot of people really enjoy that game.
Man, Lord of the Board really likes asymmetric games.
Oh yeah,
because he's high and villainous too.
Big
Andrew.
asymmetric guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those that it's very asymmetric, but you play your own game, at least to my understanding. Again, never played it. You play your own game without a care in the world what other people are doing. You don't need to know what they're doing. There's nothing you can do to stop them from doing what they're doing. You play your own game, which is vastly different from someone else's, but there's no real like web that's intertwining you all. Root is one of those that you play an extremely different game from every single player.
Yes.
But you care deeply what they're doing.
Yes.
Or you should. If you don't, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You care deeply every action they're taking because they all have an own victory condition that can be fulfilled at nearly any time. I mean, you scored 18 points as the Woodland Alliance in one turn. 18 points. Also, while we're on the subject of Root, Josh Doolin here is a giant sandbagger, is incredible at Root and continues to destroy us. He's probably like 7 out of 11. Like he probably won 7 out of 12 games or something like that.
I think I just won my 8th.
It's absurd. We don't know. Well, we found out that he was cheating.
I wasn't cheating.
Watching
There's
Lord
no
of the Board's
cheating involved.
strategy guides before we didn't even know.
Shout out to Lord of the Board.
That's actually a subject for another video that I intend to make without you here because I'm going to trash you
to be fair,
hard.
Since then, 3 for 3.
Yeah, well, we still haven't watched videos. We talked about we are.
It's your fault.
I know, we're going to have a schooling session because you are just... Root is incredible.
Root's a great game. And on top of that, if you don't have a group, join our Discord.
Yes.
And buy the app because we will play with you.
We will. We will. And
And
if we won't, there will be people that will.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that actually want to play.
Because I have had 5 games going at once, and it's a little much. It's a
right
little
now, I'm
much.
doing 4, and I'm constantly like,
Whose turn?
At Doolin, at Doolin, at Doolin. And I'm like, oh gosh. I can't
Yeah,
do
it's
this
a little
anymore.
hard to track.
Yeah.
So, let's move on to, in my opinion, the best 2-player budget area control game you can get.
This one, before we reveal what it
so
is,
much hair.
yeah, oh my gosh, is $40. And this one we've played before on camera, and it is Babylonia.
Reiner
Now,
Knizia.
Reiner Knizia game, and
The Doctor.
with no, like, fighting. Like, there's never a fighting round.
No combat.
No combat or anything like that. No... There's kind of player interaction in the way that you can block each other.
Yeah, but that's it.
That's basically it, which makes it a little less like the other, like the Eric Lang trilogy than the others.
I do think that the Eric Lang games specifically are combat area control. And, you know, Tammany Hall, I would not say combat either. Root is definitely combat. Small World is definitely combat. But in general, they're all still area control, but they're a little farther away from the Eric Lang trilogy.
And both
which
of
are
these
very
last two are
combat-based.
actually pretty far away. But this one actually reminds me a little bit of Ankh and the way it scores and the way that you're placing things. And it is just a beautiful, fun game. They have little wooden tokens in it that are really, really nice. Little like Scrabble-like things to prop them up on. And
the art is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I will say it's not... it's one of those boards that almost takes... What is the word I'm trying to look over? Fashion over function.
Okay.
Like, the river tiles are a little bit hidden. It should be more obvious what's water and what's not. But as long as you know that coming in and you the teacher, whoever's teaching the game, tells you, look, it's kind of hard to see. Make sure you're doing this. Then it's easy to miss. But if someone tells you, you're good to go. But beautiful production. Love the wooden tokens. Such a streamlined experience.
Oh my gosh, you have very few actions to pick from, and so like on your turn, all you're choosing to do is place down. Is it workers and then there's like
you've got your farmers, which are going to be the ones that can not really count for points when cities are captured, but they're used to capture farmland, stuff like that. And you've got your nobles, which are your warriors, merchants, and churches or something. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual terminology is, but
yeah, it's a great game. In the same vein of Ankh, when you're scoring like majority of temples and pyramids and like stuff like that, it reminds me of the way that you score in this game, where you're scoring. Everybody scores when something gets surrounded, and you get points based on how many of a certain thing you have in a row.
A certain symbol you have connected. And that's where you excel at this game, is building those connections. I mean, you'll make a Ticket to Ride-esque train from one side of the board to the other, and at that point in time, you're scoring every time. It's a game that you have to not only worry about yourself and scoring, but you really need to make sure that you're not allowing your opponents to build these giant connections, because that's just, I mean, they're going to score. You beat me by like 100 last time we played, because I wasn't able to like stop you from doing what you wanted to do.
And this game reminds me, if I were to like pinpoint a group of people that I would love to try Babylonia for the first time, it would be people who love Ticket to Ride. Like Ticket to Ride people, this is your next step, like for sure.
I can see that, yeah.
And then after you have played Babylonia and like it, buy Ankh. Like Ankh is your next. So like natural progression, right? Like evolution in Pokemon, you start with Ticket to Ride, then you go to Babylonia, and then you go to Ankh.
And not saying you'll like either of them more than one another. No. You may like Ticket to Ride more than the rest, but it's just a progression of like difficulty and amount of strategy, I think, that goes into it. You may like Babylonia more than Ankh, and that's totally fine. I think Doolin probably maybe does. After our 2-player game, it's close, because that was, whew.
Yeah, that was
Remy,
so good.
Get off the table. Get down.
I want to be on camera too.
He's trying, man.
So you heard it here first. Doolin thinks that Ticket to Ride is like Ankh.
Yeah. He said it, not me.
Ankh is complicated Ticket to Ride.
I mean,
or Ticket to Ride is Baby Ankh. That's the title. No,
Small World, Baby Blood Rage, Ticket to Ride, Baby Ankh. You know, we'll get there eventually.
We'll make everyone hate us by the end of Tablenauts. Yeah. Anyway, so the last one is one that Max has not played, and I'm actually looking forward to him playing this one. And this one is perfect for this time of year. Fall-ish.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but we're getting close.
Yeah, which actually in this game, you kind of have all seasons, but the beauty of it really kicks in the fall, and that's when the majority of your points are scored. This game is a little bit different than the others. Kind of like Babylonia, you're not directly fighting each other, but you do have a lot of player interaction. Okay. In the same way that Ankh, you are fighting based off of how much... I guess, like, how good your worship is in an area.
Yeah.
Like, if that makes sense. In this one, you're
battling... How many followers you have to...
Yeah. In this one, you're battling in rows and columns based on how big and beautiful your trees are. And whoever has the best trees in a row scores a certain amount of points. And whoever's second gets a certain amount of points. And then you keep going. And then and that's how spring works. And then in fall, leaves fall from the trees, and you're covering up each other's leaves and trying to get the most in each of the sections of the board, kind of like Blood Rage-esque there. Great game that plays in 30 to 45 minutes, is the cheapest other than Digital Root at $31, and that is...
Oh yeah, I felt like you'd already said what the game was. It's BOSK.
Happens to be the name of my favorite Star Wars character, too.
BOSK?
Yes.
Never seen Star Wars.
Yeah.
Prepare for the comments.
If you watched all of the episodes of Star Wars, you still wouldn't know who BOSK is.
Oh, well, I did watch Return of the King last night.
I'm really proud of you.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah.
I've seen all this.
Great movie,
all the
right?
Lord of the Rings now. Yeah, I need to watch the extended
Best
editions.
movie ever, in my opinion.
Wow, really? Great. It was a great movie. I want to watch it again. It was late, so I didn't cry. I think I'd cry in a normal situation.
I definitely cry every time.
Yeah, I think I would, but it was we finished last night at 1:45 a.m. So I was like so tired that when it ended, I was like, all right, that was good. Bedtime. Like, I think if I wasn't dead asleep, I would have cried. When the spoilers, you can just bleep out this part. I'm just going to pretend like I'm talking.
Please.
No, just keep bleeping this out. No, oh my gosh, it was incredible, and I can't...
Back to BOSK.
We haven't seen each other in like a week or so.
No,
we're off on tangents
This game,
today.
just look at the box and how beautiful
The
that
box.
already looks.
Like you flipped the last 2 letters around. The box.
I want to actually talk about this game a little bit more than usual because I don't think it's on a whole lot of people's radars. This game is about a park.
Trees.
It's about trees and
Ints?
leaves in a park a natural park. I don't know what is that called? A forest? I don't know. Like a
state park?
A state park.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And you're trying to make what people walk on trails around more beautiful than everybody else's. And you're a color of tree, so you can be yellow, orange, red, or purple.
You smacked me.
Sorry. And they have these really cool trees.
Why couldn't these be miniatures?
Because they wanted to keep it cheap.
I'm just kidding. Honestly, wouldn't that be kind of like ironic to see a game about nature with tons of plastic?
Yeah.
Kind of like,
Yeah. But then look at these like
Maybe not.
nice little wooden leaves. Aren't they cool?
These
You're
are
going to
beautiful.
Canada and it's like the maple leaf.
oh my god, there's a
Canada.
squirrel.
Yeah, the squirrel is awesome. The squirrel's like your best thing you can use in fall.
It'd be like an Instagram photo shoot in fall.
I don't think that worked at all.
I think he loved it.
The board changes what you're going for based on whether it's spring or fall. You go for rows and columns in spring.
Winter, spring,
and
summer,
you go for colors
or
in fall. It's a really great game. I've
All you gotta do is call. I have a voice crack.
I
They
know,
scared
I
me.
was like, it's kind of
The
funny.
dog scared me. I was like, all you gotta do is call.
I feel like Josh McCoy right
You
now. I don't know
got
the
a
song you're singing.
friend. You got a friend.
By who?
Is it James Taylor? Isn't it from like Toy Story or something? It's
There's
not.
You Got a Friend in Me.
No, different song.
You got a friend in me.
But here we are now.
If I had one complaint,
When the road gets tough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said.
yeah,
You got a
and this is
friend
how we get
in me.
demonetized. But yeah,
Okay.
great games. All of these are under 50, and I highly recommend them. Max will soon play, hopefully, all of these as well. Let us know if you've played them. Let us know if we've convinced you to get any of them. And then also check us out on Discord. Check us out on Patreon. There's a bunch of other things that we could talk about, but we're not because the dogs are fighting. So, we'll see you next time. This has been
And
Table.
remember, you got a friend in